Hola, it's Migueltio, the North Country Latino. We're going to take a little tour of Potsdam College. This is Drame Hall. Well, this is the extension of Drame. It's where I lived for 4 years. And up there on the 3rd floor, that was the lounge overlooking our wondrous parking lot here, where we would kind of hang out when there weren't classes or when we weren't studying or something was going on. Of course, a lot of television watching by many of the students went on in there. Over here you got Bowman, which is one of the bigger dorms. A lot of red bricks in this campus. And of course, many of the SUNY campuses were red brick. That was the design of them. A lot of them were made to look about the same. This was the main lounge area back then. Now I guess it's residence life direction here. Because right here where this office was a faculty live-in person who was kind of like our mentor. Back then it was a program here at Drame called Drame House. We were like one big family, and we would do like field trips and stuff like that and have programs and things kind of put on by our own dorm council, and the faculty live-in person lived here. Now going up the stairwell, coming out here to the 3rd floor, and this is what blew me away the other day. This door right here was my neighbor across the hall. And right here, about here, not that door there, folks, but right here was where my room was. And this kitchenette now, the room is gone. This window was the window in my room. These windows on the side were at the ends of the halls, and all this was wall through here. I'm probably standing about where my bed was and the desks, because it was about the length over. The wall went to about here where the hall started, because this hall went all the way down just past the wall. So my room got eaten by somebody. And now this. Oh well. Go down the hall here. This is what Drame looked like down the end of this side. And this is the lounge down here that the window is overlooking the parking lot. It pretty much is the same. I mean, they've painted over things. Used to be a lot more in here. I don't know if there were, I can't remember if there were doors on these doorways or if they were just there to walk in. If they were, we didn't use them. TV's still here, but of course ours was the old style up on the higher cart with a VCR and all that thing back in those days. And then you look out here and about where my car was for all those years. And this is pretty typical of the dorm room today, of the dorm room then. These desks used to have this kind of high shelf thing that went up above and down the other side, so those are obviously gone. But maybe in the other dorm buildings, since this is now like I don't know, it's not a regular dorm so much anymore, so I found out from people who've been here more recently, it's possible that now it's just not as basic as it once was for someone to actually be here for a whole year, you know. Over here in what they call main Drame, this part of Drame was kind of more just its own dorm. This lounge in here, which is kind of closed off, can't even open the door. It's called the Sunken Lounge. I spent actually time here before I actually came here to college. When I came to the Crane Youth Music Camp, they used Drame, and we did a lot of hanging out in this lounge. Here's the old inscription, Drame Hall, Manapan Drame, 1883 to 1927. Preceptress and first Dean of Women Initiated Faculty Student Government of Inter-Shorty Council of Potsdam, and it was an outstanding teacher. Now we're in the Union Quad, and that big building over there is the student union. It has some of the dining facilities in it. I guess some of the names have changed over the years and what they serve. No surprise. I mean, when I was here, wasn't such a health kick on it yet. It was starting, but had a far cry from what we turned into today. Much better, you know. I'm standing now in the Knowles Quad. Lots of nice trees and vegetation on this campus. Your bigger buildings had a long hallway that stretched down and then into a center area, and then had the towers that were about 6 floors high or so. Hard to see with the trees. Well, over here, behind this clump of trees, is Knowles East. And well, I'm on the wrong side of the building, but it's in this on the 2nd floor. And here, this section is where Wendy lived back in the day. So yeah, I kind of got familiar with this part of the building for a little while, eh? Now right here, this leads into the academic quad. That's how a lot of SUNY schools are devised, with a big kind of square quad of all the academia classes, your sciences, your histories, your languages, all the humanities, and anything you could imagine. When they designed a lot of SUNY schools, was tucked in, of course, all made of red brick. They don't all look the same. I've been to some other SUNY campuses, but you go on them and it's like, oh my God, it's so similar. And this is the Crane School of Music. This is what it looked like every morning walking across from the driveways up the walkway. Usually a very early morning. First classes usually started at 8. So you had to get over there. I think the building opened at 6. You'd want to get over and warm up for the day, because once you got in yourself warmed up, then when it came time to practice and play later, your lips were ready. This is the walkway. It goes up to the main door of entrance. Right there, that's the Snell Musical Theater, where they put on different theatrical productions, many concerts. The opera production was in there. You can see it from the high back. It's got that stage for, of course, trailers and other different curtains and flats and things. And then this main part here is where a lot of the classes were. Of course, it doesn't look like much from the outside. There's hardly any windows in the joint. You were here from dawn until dusk, practically, with maybe a meal break or when you had to go over to the quad for other classes. I'm going to make the Crane School a part 2, since there's so much of time spent there. Right over across that way, that brick building is Maxey Hall, which was the athletic department and everything. And of course the basketball games and hockey games and all, they were all in that big, huge building. And there was other sports there, swimming and track and outdoor sports like soccer and lacrosse. No football team here at Potsdam. And you had PE over there also, for one class or the other. They had a PE requirement for every student. You had to take, what was it, 4? It was practically like 1 a year. You could bunch them up if you wanted to, as long as you got 4 in your time. And that was all over there. I'm going to end this part 1 right now, and then start part 2 with the Crane School. So, to be continued.